feel that somehow we will be doing justice to a community called Kashmiri Pandit. In fact, this is a term which should be now avoided, and we should actually use the word Kashmiri Hindu. Because what has happened to them since 1990 has got nothing to do with the fact that they are Pandits. Kashmir is actually a property of Bharat Mata. I think we should therefore identify this problem as an all India problem, a problem that has affected the Hindus. And the driving out of the Kashmiri Pandits is part of a Islamic theology which wants to create a caliphate in Kashmir. When the Kashmiris were asked to leave, got this from Colonel Tiku's book. This is what the Hizbul Mujahideen said in a public statement. April 14, 1990. Pandits responsible for having perpetrated oppression and atrocity on Muslims should quit in 2 days. And they said, and then the statement says, according to the Hizbul Mujahideen, behind the oppression and persecution of Muslims, Pandits have a hand. And they said that all Pandits have become instruments of Indian imperialism. Said Pandits have received training in arms outside the valley. I wish you had, but that's what they say. This was followed by a sermon broadcast in the public address system of a mosque in Srinagar on January 20th, 27, 28, 1990, before this statement. The aim of jihad is azadi, and is enjoined by the Almighty on all followers of Tawheed to participate in the jihad.
It is of
Crusade for the establishment of Kashmir into an Islamic society. The heretics can only live in Islamic society if they accept the Islamic laws. The non-Muslims have always helped the usurpers from outside to enslave the Muslim masses in Kashmir. For them, therefore, the only way to quit quit this Pak Sarzameen, that means sacred land. We have always protected non-Muslims and they have always indulged in espionage. Now they are bewildered because the day of reckoning is on their head. So it's not targeting of a community. They say Kashmir is an Islamic state, and you can live on our sufferance as dhimmi, or convert, or be killed. This is the three alternatives that they give. Now, we know that Kashmir is an integral part of Hindu tradition. In fact, it's many of our holy places are there. And we have had Hindu kings. It's only now 600, 700 years since Islam has ruled. And in between, we had, again, after Gulab Singh, Hindu kingdoms. And it was legally became part of India by the instrument of accession. The instrument of accession is referred to briefly in the 1935 Constitution. And when Pakistan had to be created, because it didn't exist before, you had to have a legal instrument. So there was a Indian Independence Act passed by the British House of Commons, which created Pakistan out of India. And in the process, they also announced that these nearly 600 kingdoms will all be now declared independent countries. And therefore, the process was frightening that there was Pakistan, then there was whatever was left of the British Empire, and 600 kingdoms. And it's a sagacity of Sardar Patel that he spoke, and finally he brought about 450 kingdoms into India. In the case of Kashmir, Jawaharlal Nehru wanted it to be his baby, and therefore he made a mess of it, like he made most of other things also. Today we have that problem because the instrument of accession was signed. What does the instrument of accession say? The king shall decide. He need not consult the people of his subjects. This is the exact wording. You read the instrument of accession. And once he signs the instrument of accession, it is irreversible. That is also there. And our constitution, Article 1, says that no part of India, once it becomes part of India, can be seceded. That's why we had this great problem on Verubari. So no inch of India, you can add inches to India under Article 1, but you cannot take even an inch away. Nobody has that authority. And this became a part also of Article 370. What does Article 370 say? It says that the provisions, it's called temporary provisions respective of state of Jammu Kashmir. Provisions of Article 238 shall not apply to the state of Jammu Kashmir. That's something that's now gone. 238 is gone. Parliament, the power of Parliament to make laws of the said state shall be limited to matters, etc. Such other matters. And then it says, provision of Article 1 and of this article, namely 370, shall apply to the relations of the state. So Article 1 applies to Kashmir. And therefore, let anybody go on speaking, whether it is Dalit Patkankar or Prashant Bhushan or Arundhati Roy or anybody, let them go on saying, oh no, we should give Habibullah. All kinds of morons are there in the field, let them speak, they get money from abroad, so let them enjoy. But there is no legal way by which Kashmir can be separated from India now that the instrument of accession is inside. Now there was this ridiculous Article 370 which was incorporated into our constitution. There are a lot of wrong impressions that this article cannot be removed unless there is a 2/3 majority vote in Parliament. But read the article. What does it say? Notwithstanding anything foregoing in the provision of this article, the President may by public notification declare that this article shall cease to be operative or shall be operative only with such exceptions, modifications from such date that he may specify, provided the recommendations of the Constituent Assembly of the state shall be necessary before the President issues such a notification. Now there is no Constituent Assembly. So all that you need is the Cabinet passes a resolution, 370 is over, send it to the President and he notifies it. That's the end of 370. There's no need. It's the only article in the Constitution that does not require a parliamentary vote. So if anybody has told you that it requires parliamentary vote, he's bluffed you or he's ignorant. Both are equally bad. But that's what its position is. If tomorrow you have a patriotic government, it takes only 5 minutes to rectify this. Declare 370 out. Now, in addition, you can do many more things. Under the Constitution, you can create magistrates from the central cadre and put it there. That's also permissible under the present Article 370. So the law and order machinery can be yours. You can issue instructions to the state government under 256, Article 256, that take back the Kashmiri Pandits. And 256 carries with it a sting that if they don't obey, then you can put 356, which means presidential rule. And then all that you'll have is government. So legally you have a very tight case, and that is why the declassified documents of the United States of 1950 say that India has an ironclad case. And that ironclad case he made a mess of. Today we have not only 350,000 or 5 lakhs or whatever Kashmiri Hindus being driven out by this announcement. 2 days ultimatum they gave. But we also have POK Hindus about whom nobody talks. That must be more than 1 million in India in 46 camps even today. 9 lakh, yeah, about 1 million. They are from POK. They can't settle in, POK Muslims can settle in Kashmir. But POK Hindus cannot settle in Kashmir. All this absurdity we put. So what should we do? You can't ask the Kashmiri Pandits to go back, because then there will be no defense for them. So I suggest that we tell Mr. Omar Abdullah that Article 370 was passed so that the religious composition of India is not disturbed. That's what Jawaharlal Nehru said, all the Marwadis will go and take over Kashmir. So you say that the original idea was that the religious composition of Hindu Muslims should not be altered by internal migration. But by driving away the Kashmiri Pandit, you have changed the religious composition. So there is nothing which says that there can be only no one-way traffic. The religious composition cannot be changed either by the rest of India or by Kashmir itself. But Kashmir has changed the religious composition by driving away so many Hindus. So we should restore keeping 370, keeping our respect for Article 370. We should implement Article 370 by sending back some Hindus to restore the population ratio. And that I would suggest, since General Jacob is here, although he's not a Hindu, he's a Jew.
I'm a Jindu.
You're a Jindu. But we Hindus are so pro-Jews, there's no problem. But you Hindus are also pro-Parsi, and you don't like that Parsi.
No, that's not right. I had a lot of Parsi girlfriends.
Maniksha was a Parsi. Anyway, he was a great hero. Bangladesh would not have been liberated but for his insubordination. He got an instruction to call it off, but he pretended that he didn't get the instruction.
Read my book.
Otherwise, you would have had another Kashmir in Bangladesh.
All right.
So, therefore, the solution is there. It can be, because as a minister, there was no cabinet decision to go to the UN, no cabinet decision to agree to plebiscite. It was Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru, more under the influence of Edwina Mountbatten, for good reason, and therefore it's not binding on me. International law says if the cabinet of a government decides, then it's binding on future governments. But when the cabinet never decided, how can I accept this UN resolution and all this other things? And if Pakistan goes on saying we don't accept accession, then you tell them that even the creation of Pakistan is dependent on the same legislation which incorporated instrument of accession. So if you want to start de novo discussing, let us assume there is no Pakistan and let us start discussing Pakistan also. Now this requires a Virat government Not a Pilpila, Rasgulla, Nehru imitating government. You may get another chance very soon. Let's not make a mess of it. Restoration of Kashmir complete. And I'm telling you, the only way you will get Kashmir back, that is the POK part, is by war. You got opportunities in 71 and 1999, you didn't use it. You'll get another opportunity because Pakistan is going to be taken over by Taliban. Taliban has said that India is an unfinished chapter of Islamic history. Why is it an unfinished chapter? Because when Muslims went to Iran, the Parsis were ruling, they took it over, conquered it, captured it, and in 15 years they made Persia into 100% Muslim. Neighboring was Mesopotamia and Babylon, which is now called Iraq. In 17 years they made it 100% Muslim. Then in Egypt they went, captured it, conquered it, butchered it, and in 21 years they made it 100% Muslim. But here they ruled 800 years, and you are still 83% Hindu. Something is wrong. And therefore they say it's unfinished history. We also have an unfinished history. There are lands which are today taken over, we have to get it back. And we have to therefore speak in that language of clarity and with the full backing that you have every intention to execute any threat you give. There's a book on infiltration. Pakistan was created for those Muslims who didn't want to live with Hindus. After it is created, so time has come now to prepare for war because you're going to have war. Taliban is going to declare war. You see what is happening in the election? Under the pressure of the Chief Justice of Pakistan, many candidates are being declared, the nominations being rejected because they're not good Muslims. Never heard of it. Some of them are asking them to recite the Quran in order to clear their nomination form. So therefore, Pakistan is heading for Talibanization. The Americans will probably leave Afghanistan, so it will also become Taliban. They will declare war. I like one thing about Muslims, their mind is very clear. It is the Hindus who are saying the same thing. That we now have to take this kind of a clarity, bring this clarity. Muslims are very clear. If they are a majority, then it is Darul Islam. No mandir there. In Saudi Arabia, do you have any mandir? Can you celebrate Diwali in Saudi Arabia? Can you do Satyanarayana Puja inside your house? No. If you are not in majority, but you are a sizable minority and the majority is Pilpila, Rasgulla type, then go on demanding. First, uniform civil code, then reservation, go on demanding. And they are doing it very excellent. And where they become a minority, where the majority is united, there they accept everything. Whatever you say, they will accept. In Australia, one mullah said that I don't like this uniform civil code in Australia. So the Prime Minister said, if you don't like uniform civil code, you better go and look for another country where you can get Sharia, but not in Australia. Next day, all the Muslim associations said, this mullah is a pagal, he's a bad fellow. We like uniform civil code. Muslims in America also like uniform civil code, but not in India, because you are confused. Your mind is confused. That's the whole crux of it. You can solve these problems that Hindus are facing. Today, we began the clarity.
We bow to Dr. Sohan Sami for this inspiring speech. Let me assure you, sir, apart from those present here, in our private discussion, if I may say so, in the practice forum, we shall try to live up to your expectations. Thank you again. very much sorry. Friends, we will now start so-called formal